My nightmare started like this.
Starting the opening of your book in a dream cliché.
My mom made blue waffles and blue eggs for breakfast.
Okay, the blue waffles I can maybe understand. But how the heck did you manage with the blue eggs?
I can't explain it all now. I'm not even sure Chiron can.
I.e., we need some artificial suspense to keep the reader engaged.
A human silhouette against the brick wall. A shadow that belonged to no one. Then it rippled and vanished.
So, this is obviously Annabeth. Is there any reason why she has to spy on Percy in secret like this instead of just walking up and talking to him? Didn't they become good friends in the last book?
The social workers claimed Tyson didn't exist. They swore up and down that they'd visited the alley we described and couldn't find him.
Here we go with the missed inconsistency again. If it makes Tyson invisible to mortals in the alley, then he shouldn't be visible to them now.
You might have friends if you weren't always sticking up for that freak.
Did I pick up the first book on accident? Sloane is basically a gender-swapped Nancy Bobblefoot.
Had caught two fiery metal balls speeding toward him at a zillion miles an hour. He sent them hurtling back toward their surprised owners, who screamed, "Bad!" as the bronze spears exploded against their chests.
Damn, Tyson is a badass. More of this, please.
Standing in the smoke was my friend Annabeth.
Nice of you to save the day, Annabeth. But are you going to explain why you've been invisible all this time? No? Well then here's a sin for you.
Oh, gross! Annabeth stepped away from him.
I know Annabeth has her history with Cyclopes, but Tyson just single-handedly killed a bunch of giants to save Percy's life. There's no need to be so harsh.
What would you call them in English? She thought about it for a moment. Canadians.
I called my Canadian friend a giant once. He is no longer my friend.
Then a car erupted from the ooze.
Discount Nightbus.
And not just regular bulls, bronze ones the size of elephants.
Okay, so I'm now 4 chapters into this book, and so far we've had a school bully, 3 old ladies that know the future, and giant bull monsters. This is such a rip-off of the Lightning Thief's premise that it's not even funny.
Somewhere near, toward the crest of the hill, Tyson wailed, "Can't get through!"
Why can't somebody as strong as Tyson break through the weakened camp barrier when the monster bulls managed with little to no effort and Tyson easily overpowers the bulls?
The mist makes humans see only what their brains can process. I knew it could fool demigods too.
Of course it can. As if the mist's powers weren't inconsistent enough already.
You're that spirit from the fields of punishment, I said.
How did Dionysus manage to hire somebody dead from the fields of punishment? I know he's a god, but I find it hard to believe that Hades would have agreed to something like that so easily.
In my dream, Grover was wearing a wedding dress.
Grover, a weak character who developed into a semi-competent one in the last book, now becomes a literal damsel in distress, complete with his very own wedding dress. I'm adding a good 2 cents here for what can only be classified as reverse character development.
Clarice has just pulled across the finish line.
Don't you mean Clarice had pulled across the finish line? The book got it right, so this sin is purely on the narrator.
It could cure Thalia's tree.
Wow. Isn't it convenient that the Cyclops who kidnapped Grover just so happens to have the golden fleece that can save the camp?
This land is Minos' land.
Don't you mean this is Minos' land?
No one noticed that his children were missing, and when he served the gods dinner, my dear campers, can you guess what was in the stew?
Damn, this children's fantasy novel got really dark, and I am not okay with that.
I don't care if he is chained to a rock with vultures pecking at his liver. If he doesn't have a tracking number, we can't locate his package.
Cute line, Hermes, but you're obviously referring to Prometheus. And according to Book 5, he was freed by Hercules centuries ago.
Then we passed a cafeteria and saw our first monster.
We were led to believe that the ship was empty last night. How the heck was Luke fast enough to kidnap a dozen or so mortals and board the ship with his monster pals within a span of a few hours? Also, with so many passengers now aboard the ship, how did nobody find the 3 stowaways that were sleeping on board?
He waved his hand, and 3 dining chairs scooted themselves into the center of the room.
How does Luke, son of Hermes, have the power to conjure chairs out of nothing? I'm seeing far less of a distinction between half-bloods and wizards as the series goes on.
She bewitched the young woman into falling in love with a bear. The girl's twin sons here.
Wait, what? Sons? How the heck did a girl manage to have kids with a bear? Also, this book just made me picture human-to-bear intercourse. If that's not considered a sin, then I don't know what is.
I will look for powdered donuts in the wilderness. Percy, some of the chains multiply so fast because all their locations are magically linked to the life force of a monster.
If that's true, then why isn't there a monster popping out for every McDonald's?
Fire at will, Captain. Annabeth understood what was happening a split second before I did. She yelled, "Hit the dirt!"
I get that they don't like each other, but was Clarice seriously planning on killing Annabeth and Percy if they had it ducked in time? Also, how did she find them? I know that they're both on their way to the Sea of Monsters, but Clarice had no idea where they'd crash-landed.
Lining the deck were zombies in gray uniforms.
Between Tantalus and now these zombie parrots, I'm starting to wonder if Hades had a change in personality since the last book. Did he start giving away the dead like computers at a garage sale?
But I suppose I have to rescue you. Come aboard.
Oh, so now you want to save them. It's not like you tried to blow them up not 2 seconds ago.
I can't blow apart rocks with my cannons, Clarice said.
So the ship's cannon can vaporize something as huge as the Hydra, but not a couple of rocks?
Karoom!
Karoom? What kind of exploding sound effect is that?
I woke up in a rowboat with a makeshift sail stitched of gray uniform fabric. Annabeth sat next to me.
How did Annabeth find Percy when he was unconscious at the bottom of the ocean? Did she suddenly become a child of Poseidon too?
That's why Kronos didn't kill me last summer.
What are you talking about? Kronos fully planned on killing you. First through Hades, and then when that failed, he tried to poison you through Luke's spider.
When Chiron first learned about Thalia, he assumed she was the one in the prophecy. That's why he was so desperate to get her safely to camp.
Yeah, by sending a junior Zeta, who, as it so happens, spends this entire book being kidnapped by a Cyclops.
Let me think about it, Annabeth murmured. Just give me a minute alone to say goodbye.
Cersei falls for this.
The night Grover was escorting us to camp, he got confused, took some wrong turns.
Gee, I wonder why.
Go below, Annabeth told me at last. You need some rest.
But then who'll steer the ship? Percy's been doing it so far using his water powers. And if he could put it on autopilot, then why didn't he just do this to begin with?
Did you say bride? Clarice demanded. Who, Grover?
I know Clarice isn't the brightest, but can she seriously not take the hint?
Recipe?
He asked Grover.
Polyphemus falls for this.
But you're still getting married? Grover sounded hurt. Who's the bride?
Grover is disappointed that he's not marrying the Cyclops who kidnapped him. I repeat, Grover is disappointed that he's not marrying the Cyclops that kidnapped him.
He had wisely divided his regular animals from his man-eating sheep. The only way across was the rope bridge.
Then what was with the living deer that the killer sheep disemboweled earlier?
Grover rushed in from the right. He threw his sheep bone, which bounced harmlessly off the monster's forehead. The monster sniffed.
My beautiful fleece.
Prize of my collection. Take it.
Percy falls for this. I mean, seriously, is everybody in this book an idiot?
And I realized he was targeting by the sound of my voice.
Percy thinks this, and then literally starts talking in the next line.
Within striking distance of the monster's heart. But I locked eyes with Tyson, and I knew I couldn't do it.
What? Why? You've had no problem killing monsters before. Also, did you forget that they don't die when killed? Polyphemus would be much better off in Tartarus than on land, where he can kill more people that will stay dead.
Clarice, I yelled. Come on, you're going to the airport.
I know Americans don't need passports for domestic travel, but can an underage girl really just fly alone to any state without any form of ID?
Araeus grinned and raised Annabeth and Grover off the ground, kicking and screaming.
I'll give Annabeth a pass here, because she's more than earned her keep, but I'm adding a good 5 cents to Grover for getting taken hostage again, literally 5 minutes after being held hostage on Cyclops Island.
The biggest boat in port was the Princess Andromeda.
Also, how did Luke and the monsters know that they'd end up in this exact spot in Miami after getting the fleece?
I thought with all my heart, "Oh, goddess, accept my offering." Even Dionysus, at Camp Half-Blood.
Now, I'll admit that this is a pretty smart ploy by Percy, but if he can communicate with the Irish goddess just by thinking hard, then there's no reason for him to say the name and place aloud either.
It was the first pure black Pegasus I'd ever seen. I could understand her thoughts.
Huh? Did Blackjack cover gender swapping between books?
Tyson had come through. I raised the shield, and Beckendorf's sword clanged against it. His blade shattered.
Honestly, Tyson has been the best part of this book. He's insanely strong, a great mechanic, and the son of Poseidon to top it off. What more is there to say?
I manipulated the mist. Someday, when you're ready, I'll show you how it's done.
That day will never come.
Tyson was going? Just like that?
Damn it, Rick. Way to write out the best character in the book. I just hope this doesn't mean that Grover will become the third party member again.